Go ahead, Ryan.
Good afternoon, everybody. We certainly want to welcome you to the beautiful borough of Brooklyn, USA, here in New York City. I'm Brian Custer, host of Showtime Championship Boxing. It is Fight Week, and we welcome you to the official press conference for Garcia versus Redkach. Saturday, January 25th at the Barclays Center here in Brooklyn. The event is brought to you by Premier Boxing Champions, and it's promoted by TGB Promotions, led by Tom Brown, and DSG Promotions, which is led by Danny Garcia. We want to acknowledge the Barclays Center. This will be the 37th boxing event that has taken place at that venue. It is the premier East Coast venue for world-class boxing. In fact, boxing first started there in October of 2012 when that venue opened. And Danny, I don't know if you remember this, in October 2012, Danny Garcia was the headliner. In fact, you were there fighting your title rematch against Eric Morales. It was also Danny Garcia's debut on Showtime Championship Boxing. Since then, this young man has made 8 appearances on Showtime, if you include CBS as well. In fact, no one has headlined more at the Barclays Center than Danny Garcia. We certainly have a vested interest in headlining and putting on events at Barclays Center. It will be the 21st time that Showtime has put on a boxing event there, 23 when you count the 2 that we also did on CBS. And I want to give a special thanks and shout out to the Barclays Center, especially their team. Keith Sheldon, he's their Executive Vice President of BSE Global, and their Senior Boxing Advisor, saw him in the back, Anthony Canizzaro. Where is he at? He's here as well. Thank you for all you guys do and being a friend of boxing and Brooklyn boxing as well. Tickets, they're on sale. You can get some, Ticketmaster.com. Also, you can get some at BarclaysCenter.com and the American Express box office, which is located right there inside Barclays Center. Showtime Championship Boxing is going to bring you a triple header of fights coming January 25th. Garcia, Redkach is live on Showtime. The televised bouts begin at 9 p.m. Eastern. That is 6 o'clock Pacific time. We also want to remind you that Showtime Championship Boxing Countdown, it's a 3-fight card of the undercard fights. We're going to stream those live on the Showtime Sports YouTube channel and the Showtime Boxing Facebook page. That comes your way live at 7 p.m. Eastern and 4 o'clock Pacific time. Every fight card has to have some intrigue, and this one has it. Because we're going to begin the night with a couple of unbeaten fighters at 122 pounds. Neither one has tasted defeat. You don't want to miss the opening fight. The co-main. The night is a couple of Swifts on the card, because the co-main features the former Unified champ and Jared Swift Hurd making his first fight since losing his titles. And then the main event. He calls it the Danny Garcia Show. And it's Danny Garcia versus Ivan Redkach, who's a big puncher. That's the intrigue. The guy who helped put all of this together is a great boxing mind. He's also the president of sports and event programming for Showtime Networks. Steven Espinoza couldn't be here, but we got the next best thing. We've got the guy who runs Showtime, really runs Showtime, the one and only Chris de Blasio.
So it's the short straw. You guys drew the short straw today. Sorry, our great boxing mind, Steven, couldn't be here. He sends his regrets for that, but he will be tomorrow at the weigh-in and, of course, Saturday night, where we're all looking forward to. I want to say thank you to Brian for hosting today. I want to thank Tom Brown and TGB Promotions for helping us orchestrate the event. Keith Sheldon, Anthony Catanzaro from the Barclays Center, and of course Tim Smith, the Watson family, everybody at Heyman Boxing and PBC for these spectacular events we're putting on month after month. Showtime is in the midst of an excellent run. 8 live boxing shows across just 10 weeks. We're featuring many of the biggest names in the sport in that time. It began with Gervonta Davis, Badu Jack, and Jean Pascal on December 28th. It includes Gary Russell Jr. and Guillermo Rigondeaux coming up. And of course, 2 men seated up here today. This run also includes a bevy of young prospects and contenders, Jaron Ennis among them, Shojahan Ergashev, remember that name, and Ruben Villa, many others on our Showbox series across this particular run that runs through February 28th. On Saturday night in particular, we have a great mix of bouts. There's 3 young prospects, as Brian mentioned, who are going to be featured on our Countdown show live on Facebook and YouTube. That's globally. And that's before the Showtime telecast begins. At 9 o'clock, we've got 3 high-stakes bouts between the 6 men that are up here today. For different reasons, each of these fights and each man here is in a must-win type of fight on Saturday. Stephen Fulton and Arnold Kagai, for them, this is more than a chance to shine on national TV and under the bright lights at one of the premier boxing arenas in the country. This is a chance to earn a right to fight for a world title in their next fight. For Danny and for Jarrett, these are 2 men in the top 5 of their respective divisions. These are easily the 2 deepest divisions in boxing. These guys have taken on the biggest and toughest challenges in their careers, and win, lose, or draw in those fights, they have earned the right to be among the elite. But they need strong performances on Saturday night to maintain their status and to have a shot to regain the world titles that they covet. Across the ring in both fights, these men to my left, Ivan and Francesco, you guys have the chance to break into the ranks to the elite on Saturday. And win, lose, or draw for you, even with a strong performance against these former world champions, you can stay in the hunt for a challenge at a world title. If not, break into the top 5 with a great performance. Make no mistake, high stakes, intriguing fights up and down the entire card. We're looking forward to a great night on Saturday night. I appreciate your time. Right?
Chris, thank you. Very well done. Man runs that network. Shout out to my man Sam Watson, Heyman Boxing there. I thought that was Al Heyman himself. Good to see him. Let's hear from the fighters. That's why you came here.
I'm here for a reason. I just want to thank all of y'all for coming out. I had nothing else to say for that aspect. So, see y'all Saturday night.
That's the opening fight. Now we get to the co-main. 154 pounds, 10 rounds of boxing. Coming here to the podium now is a young man who comes in at 25, 7, and 1. But 12 knockouts. Pressure, come forward fighter. These fights, he's already fought some of the best. Charlo, J-Rock. Now he's going to be facing Jared Hurd. Here's Francisco Santana.
How's it going? I want to thank TGD Promotions, Tom Brown, Louis DeCubas, Al Heyman, Sam Watson, Showtime, and Hurd for giving me the great opportunity. It's going to be an honor to be able to set foot in the ring with a former unified world champion and an elite fighter. So that's going to be an honor. But I was actually, I know the last press conference I was saying how nobody was giving me a shot to win. And I was, this morning I was checking the spread, the betting spread, and man, I really don't have a shot because it was a 14-1. Yeah, so it's almost like I should just stay home and watch myself fight. But all jokes aside, man, everybody knows I come to fight, regardless whether if I'm the underdog or not. I come to fight. I love to fight. It's what I love to do, and I'm just I'm astounded to be able to do it and perform again come Saturday night. So, Jared, you want to bring it down to 147? That's cool. We can do it too. Yeah. But no, but thank you very much. Thank you guys. Thank you, Jared. for the opportunity, and thanks everybody, man. And just expect it's gonna be a great, great fight come Saturday night. Thank you.
But you know, Francisco, here's the beauty of boxing. You know, they always say in this sport, it only takes one punch. In that 154-pound division, it's exciting, filled with some great fighters. And I think when Jason Rosario walked into that ring against J-Rock, they had the underdog fighting in Philly and went in there and shocked the world. So it can happen. That's the intrigue. So Mr. Santana will be fighting the former unified champion of the world. This man comes into the ring 23-1, 16 knockouts, always known to be one of the bigger 154-pounders, exciting. Every fight he has, it seems to be a great fight. It was the fight of the year when he fought Irizlandi Lara last year. So this guy here brings it. He's got a new trainer. He's got a whole new look, but he's still swift, Jared Hurd, or, shall I, Mr. Get That Bag. Here's Jared Hurd.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing? First of all, I would like to thank God, Showtime, TGB Promotions, Al Heyman, DSG Promotions, and the entire staff that helping out with this event. This is the second time, I'm on the call with Danny Garcia. Two Swifts on the same card. I like to call it Swift Square. But it's always excitement. It's always going to be a great turnout. And I don't know if you guys checked you guys' forecast, but this Saturday is definitely going to be a storm coming this Saturday. And every time I fight, I bring the storm. So make sure you guys tune in. I'm ready to fight. I know Francisco Santana, he's going to bring his A game. So let's get it, man. I will give y'all this to get that bag, but I'm ready to weigh it. So.
Danny told me I got to work on my note. That note, singing ain't my thing. All right, so now we get to the main event. Man, we got probably one of the biggest punchers in the welterweight division. Best division in boxing. One of the most competitive divisions in boxing. We got a heavy-handed challenger. We got a guy who just knocks people out here in the main event. Let's start with my gentleman to my left. You're right. 23-4-1, but he's got 18 knockouts. Southpaw. He always brings it every time he steps into the ring. He's known as the Terrible, Ivan Redkach.
Добрый день всем. Хочу поблагодарить мою команду и организаторов, кто сделал этот бой. Al Heyman, Sam Watson, Danny Garcia, Showtime, Francisco Espinosa.
I want to thank everybody who made this event happen. Showtime, DSG Promotions, Al Heyman.
Хочу поблагодарить еще моих друзей, мой угол, который очень сильно трудился на протяжении 3 месяцев и покажем отличный бой.
I also want to thank my corner, all the people that were besides me during the training camp. And this Saturday night, I'm going to show you a good fight.
Спасибо, Danny Garcia, что согласился на этот бой. Мы устроим крутейший бой и победим сильнейшего.
Thank you for Danny Garcia for taking this fight. We're going to make a great show this Saturday night. Thank you, everybody.
Now the man he'll be fighting. 35-2. But 21 of those victories have come by knockout. 8-time headlining at Barclays. No one has headlined at Barclays more. Holds the record for the largest crowd. 16,500 came out to see him when he fought Keith Thurman. He calls it the Danny Garcia show. Every time he steps into the ring, he is Danny Swift Garcia.
I want to thank everybody for coming out. Thank the media for coming out. I want to thank Al Heyman. I want to thank Showtime. I want to thank my team, Team Garcia. It's been a long 10-week camp. Put in the hard work. We did everything we were supposed to do. We ran the hills. We ate the rocks. You know, we did everything we were supposed to do. You know, so we're ready to go. I'm glad I had a safe camp, no injuries, and you should be expecting to see the best Danny Garcia come Saturday night. I'm excited to be back at the Barclays Center. This feels like my home away from home. Definitely my fans from Philly, my friends, my family, everyone from Philly is gonna be coming up. My fans from New York, my fans from Brooklyn, my fans from all around the world. I'm be excited, you know, to go in there and show my skills again. Like I said before, I feel like I have unfinished business here in Brooklyn. And I come Saturday night. We ain't leaving no rock unturned. We're gonna go in there and get the job done. And there's not really much more to say. You know, Ivan, you know, I know who Ivan is. I had to unfollow him on Instagram. Don't take it personal. He turned into my rival. But I haven't had sweets in a long time. And Ivan up here looking like a lemon head. Come Saturday night, I'm gonna have some good dessert. I'll see you Saturday night, baby. Thank you.
All right. Let's talk about the fights. My man Danny turned this into Def Comedy Jam. All right, let's talk about these fights. Let's start with the opening bout. 2 unbeaten fighters. Cool boy, let me start with you. 7th unbeaten fighter you faced, and you say he hasn't learned yet. Tell me and tell the people, what has Arnold not learned, considering this is the 7th unbeaten fighter you'll be facing?
Same as every other undefeated fighter I've fought. They lack the knowledge of fighting. What will happen when you fight? They all try to fight me the same way. No matter which way you fight me, I will find a way to win. It's just in me, in my blood, in Philadelphia as well. We find a way to win and prevail no matter what.
Arnold, once you respond to that, what's your response?
Увидимся в субботу.
We will see Saturday night.
Cool boy, you said you plan on stealing the show come Saturday night. How so?
Plan on being myself, you know, depending on a great performance against another good opponent. Once I do that, just be myself, cool, calm, relax, and be cool boy stuff, can't be stopped. And naturally happens.
Arnold, I know you fought on ShowBox a couple of times. First time now on Showtime Championship Boxing. What does this opportunity mean to you? What are you trying to show the boxing public worldwide come Saturday?
Я думаю, это самый большой шанс для меня. Это самое большое шоу в моей карьере. Поэтому
I think this is a big chance for me. I think this is a big step in my career right now.
Поэтому я постараюсь отдать всего себя в ринге.
I'm gonna give everything in the ring. I'm gonna give myself everything in the ring. So I'm gonna give my everything in the ring.
Arnold, will you be the first fighter to beat Cool Boy Steph?
Да.
Yes.
Cool boy, final word.
As they say, we'll see Saturday.
That's the first fight that comes your way Saturday night on Showtime Championship Boxing. Now we get to the co-main. 154 pounds. Francisco, listen, you face some of the best. Charlo, J-Rock. In your opinion, where does Jarrett Hurd stand out of all of those guys who you've already faced?
Well, I think it's the biggest fight of my career. Absolutely, it's like he said before. Just because he lost his last fight doesn't mean that he's out. I mean, he's still an elite fighter in the super welterweight division. So absolutely, you know, once you're in the elite division, you gotta have respect for every single person that sets foot in that ring. You know, because we all saw what happened last week. You know, all it takes is one punch to end the fight. So I think that he is definitely the biggest fight of my career.
Jarrett, as we've talked about, you know, Jason Rosario stopped J-Rock, he takes the belts. How much did that motivate you, not only for this fight, but to get your belts back?
To be honest, it didn't motivate me at all. You know, I still had the same motivation for this going to this fight that I always had. If J-Rock would have fought a week before me and won or lost, you know, it didn't change anything. I was focused on Francisco Santana. You know, I didn't have no feelings towards what happened. You know, like I said earlier yesterday, I said he lost. You know, he bounced back before, he bounced back again.
You have been pretty honest about that's the rematch you won. Considering he lost, is that still your future plans, or have those changed?
We don't know yet. You know, we didn't think that far because we still have this task on Saturday. We of course, we wanted a rematch, but we didn't think since there was some changes of what we're going to do next.
Francisco, the same question for you. Considering what happened last week, that stoppage of Julian Williams, did that give you any extra motivation going into this fight?
The motivation's always been there. Again, you know, because knowing who I was going to face, the biggest opportunity of my career, of my life. So that motivation was always there. I was just watching the fight as a boxing spectator, as a fan. You know, and I always rooted for J-Rock, you know, since him and I fought to a draw years back. I seen the improvement that he's made, and I've always just admired his hard work and the determination. So I tuned in that night just to watch him fight. But the motivation for this fight, it's always been in there. I actually get my motivation from my family, from my kids. You know, they're my motivation. You know, so waking up at 4 in the morning to go run, driving an hour to go to work every day. Spend paving the roads, getting off of work, driving back to the gym. Don't start training until like 5:30, 6 o'clock. I don't get home till 8 o'clock. Sometimes I don't get to see my kids. You know, to me, that without my kids, I have no air. So they're my biggest motivation. So I know it's been a long sacrifice, but with sacrifice, there's always a great reward afterwards.
Lastly, you know, Rosario talked about he was a big puncher. He said, I know a lot of people don't know who I am. That's how I'm going to shock the world. How will you shock the world Saturday?
Tune in Saturday. You know, everybody's, till this day, they've always seen a small portion of what I can do. You know, everybody knows me as the guy that just comes forward and comes to fight. But I've been doing this for a long time, and I think my experience will speak for itself. And I know it's like I said before, it's not an easy task. It's going to be a hard task, but I'm prepared and ready to go for a hard, crucial 10 rounds.
Jared will end with this. new trainer, but you say you're still the same fighter in some aspects. How will we see a different Jarrett Hurd, though, come Saturday night than what we've seen in the past?
Well, mainly I want to get hit less. You know, that's first and foremost. You know, I've been in the fight of the years. Each and every year, I was a candidate fight of the year, and I realized in those fight of the years, those fights have to be back and forth. So I don't want any more back and forth fights. I just want from this point on to have one-sided fights. Of course, being me, on the control of the fight, and that's basically what I want to see. I want to see dominant performance for the rest of my career.
Now we come to the main event. Ivan Redkach, Danny Garcia. Ivan, you said, and you recorded it saying, we will see a new Ivan style Saturday night against Danny Garcia. What is that new style?
Я очень тяжело тренировался, и у меня был очень тяжелый лагерь. У меня новый тренер, Джек Мозли, и мы проделали большую чемпионскую работу.
I had a very long camp. I had a good camp, and we had a routine that we worked on, and you will see it on Saturday night.
Danny, you know, when these boxing writers were writing about the welterweight division, they said Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, Manny Pacquiao, and then it ended with Sean Porter. How much is this fight about showing the sport, showing the division, showing the boxing public Danny Garcia is still one of the elite welterweights in the sport of boxing?
You know, every fight from now on is a fight for my legacy. You know, this will be my 38th fight. You know, I'm kind of like a young veteran now. You know, I feel great, and I'm always going to be one of the best fighters in the world. You know, I'm here by popular demand. You know me, so it is what it is, and the rankings could be the rankings. In my heart, I let the politics be the politics, but I go in there and do the fighting. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to fight. I'm not here to worry about politics. I'm here to go and show the world that I'm a force to be reckoned with.
You attended the Charlo Harrison fight, and you told a journalist that you saw Errol Spence, and you told Errol Spence, I will see you in April in the ring after I knock out Danny Garcia. Tell us, how are you going to shock the world and knock Danny Garcia out on Saturday?
Я еще раз повторю, что Дэнни Гарсия очень крутой боец. Мы покажем крутой бой. И я не сомневаюсь, что я выиграю нокаутом.
Danny Garcia, once again, I'm going to repeat myself. So Danny Garcia is a good fighter, and I have a game plan, and I think I'm going to knock him out, and we'll see on Saturday night.
And to follow up on that, you also said Devin Alexander overlooked you, and that's why he got knocked out, and you believe Danny is doing the same. You still feel that way?
Я уважаю Дэнни. Он очень крутой боец. Мы покажем субботу крутой бой.
Once again, I respect Danny Garcia. He's a very cool fighter, but we will see it Saturday night.
Danny, your response to that?
Number one, I'm not Devin Alexander. Number two, I'm not 18 of the people he knocked out. And number three, don't try too hard because you might knock yourself out.
Manny Pacquiao's manager, Danny, said that Manny will be watching this fight closely because he's looking for an impressive performance. Do you feel any extra pressure to look really good Saturday night?
Nah, no pressure at all. You know, I have to go in there and just do my thing and get this victory. Manny's been saying he's been wanting to fight me for the last 2 years. It's still hasn't happened, but like I said before, I have to go in there and get this victory, and then whatever the future brings, I'm ready.
And you've said this throughout. I'm focused on Ivan Redkach, but you know there are big things that could be in your future. If you had a preference and someone came to you and said, do you want this fighter or this fighter? Would you want Manny Pacquiao? Would you want Errol Spence?
You know, my mind is set for Saturday night. You know, I trained 10 weeks for this fight, so I can't overlook Ivan. I know he's hungry, and I know he wants this. I know he wants to have a breakout. He said he wants to have a breakout fight. But I'm prepared for what he has to the table, and once we get this victory, then, like I said before, it doesn't matter. Manny Pacquiao, Errol Spence, or anybody who wants to fight me, I'm here. Let's get it on.
Ivan, last word. What should we expect Saturday night when you get in the ring with Danny Garcia?
Это будет крутой бой. Фанаты могут запомниться Danny Garcia. Он проигрывал на этой арене. Он говорит, что это его дом. Увидимся в субботу.
It's going to be a very cool fight. The fans going to love it. Danny Garcia lost in this arena once, and you're going to see Saturday night. It's going to be a very good fight, interesting fight.
Danny, give you the final word.
It don't matter who I beat, who I lost to. Come Saturday night, it's going down.
There you have it, folks. Comes your way Saturday, January 25th, Showtime Championship Boxing, a triple header of fights. We start out a couple of unbeaten fighters. The co-main, we've got Santana against Hurd, and then the main event, Danny Garcia, Ivan Redkach, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific time. And don't forget, we're also streaming some of the undercard fights. That comes your way at 7 o'clock Eastern time, 4 o'clock Pacific time on the Showtime Sports YouTube page and our Facebook page as well. Fighters, let's face off.
Face off, face off, face each other. Hold that All right, guys, let's please face the crowd right here, guys. All right, guys, let's turn and face the crowd. Danny, come on, guys. Danny, Ivan, come on, guys. Let's face the camera. Come on, guys. All right, guys. Come on. Let's go. You can put this on your side. You can put that on your side. Right here, guys.
Have we here for one, please?
Cameras in the back, guys. Cameras in the back. That's the third. All right, guys, let's bring it on. Come right here. Let's get nice and tight. Let's get nice and tight. Nice and tighter. Closer, closer. All right, guys, everyone together right here first. Guys, everyone else right here. Cameras in the back, guys. Thank you, gentlemen. Main event, we're good. We could have the co-main, please face off. Please step back for 1 second. Forward, yep, hold that, please. All right, guys, let's face the cameras. Right here first. Cameras in the back, guys. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you all. Face off, nice and tight. Hold that down. All right, guys, here we go. Let's start with the cameras. Right here, guys. Right here first. Cameras in the back, guys. All right, thank you, gentlemen.